Your power goes out at 8 p.m. on a freezing January night. By 2 a.m. 6 hours later, your house is already dangerously cold. By morning, you're wearing every piece of clothing you own and can see your breath indoors. But medieval European homes could maintain livable temperatures for 48 hours after the last fire went out. 2 full days of residual warmth without any active heating. How is that even possible? Today, I'm revealing the forgotten thermal engineering of medieval homes. And you're about to discover that we've actually built worse houses as we got smarter. This isn't about nostalgia. This is about physics we forgot. And it might save your life someday. Meet Johann, a German craftsman living in 1340 in a half-timbered house in Bavaria. It's February. Outside temperature is 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Last night, Johann's house fire burned out around midnight. It's now 10 a.m. 10 hours later and his home is still 55 degrees inside. His children aren't shivering. His wife isn't complaining. The water hasn't frozen. By contrast, your modern home would be 25 degrees by now with burst pipes and a family in genuine danger. Let me show you the engineering secrets that made medieval homes thermal fortresses that modern construction abandoned. Secret 1. Thermal mass is everywhere. Your modern home is built from materials with almost no thermal mass: drywall, wood studs, fiberglass insulation. These materials don't store heat. They only block heat transfer temporarily. When your furnace shuts off, there's nothing holding warmth. The house cools immediately because there's no thermal battery. Medieval homes were the opposite. They were built almost entirely from high thermal mass materials. Johann's house has thick walls, not thin stick frames. The exterior walls are wattle-and-daub, a lattice of wooden branches woven together and plastered with a thick mixture of clay, sand, straw, and animal dung. This plaster is 6 to 8 inches thick on each side of the wooden frame. That's 12 to 16 inches of total wall thickness. Clay and earth have enormous thermal mass. They absorb heat slowly during the day and release it slowly at night. The walls are giant heat batteries. The interior walls aren't drywalls. On drywall, they're lime plaster over wooden lath, 2 to 3 inches thick. More thermal mass. The floors aren't thin wood over empty space. They're packed earth covered with clay tiles or wide wooden planks directly on the ground. The ground itself has infinite thermal mass. The ceiling isn't thin drywall, it's thick wooden beams with lime plaster between them. Every surface in Johann's house is made of materials that store heat. Here's how thermal mass works in practice. Johann's fire burns all evening, heating the house to 68 degrees by bedtime at 10 p.m. The clay walls, which are room temperature 68 degrees on the inside surface, slowly absorb heat. By midnight, when the fire dies out, those walls have stored enormous amounts of thermal energy. As the room air temperature starts to drop, the walls begin releasing that stored heat back into the room. They act as radiators, preventing rapid temperature decline. Your modern drywall walls can't do this. Drywall is thin and has minimal mass. When your heat shuts off, the walls aren't radiating stored warmth, they're just barriers that slow heat escape. They're passive, not active. Johann's walls are active thermal buffer. This is why his house maintains temperature for 48 hours while yours fails in 6. Secret 2. The masonry stove is a heat storage monster. Your modern furnace produces heat while running and stops producing heat when it turns off. There's no heat storage. Medieval homes used masonry stoves, sometimes called tile stoves or Kachelafont in German, that were fundamentally different. These weren't fireplaces. They were thermal batteries with chimneys. Johann's masonry stove is a massive structure, maybe 6 feet tall, 4 feet wide, 3 feet deep, made of brick, stone, and ceramic tiles. Inside is a firebox where wood burns, but unlike a fireplace where hot gases go straight up a chimney, the gases in a masonry stove travel through internal channels inside the brick mass before exiting. These channels are designed to be long and serpentine, maximizing contact time between hot gases and brick. When Johann burns a fire for 2 to 3 hours, the brick mass heats up to 200 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. This requires a lot of energy, but once heated, that mass stores an enormous amount of thermal energy. After the fire goes out, the stove continues radiating heat for 18 to 24 hours. The surface temperature drops gradually from 200 degrees to room temperature over a full day. This is 80 to 85% thermal efficiency, compared to a fireplace's 15 to 20% efficiency. Johann fires his stove twice per day, morning and evening. Each firing provides 18 to 24 hours of heat. The heat curves overlap, so the house never fully cools. When one firing's heat is declining, the next firing adds fresh thermal energy. The house temperature oscillates slightly but remains stable. If Johann stops firing the stove entirely, the residual heat stored in the brick mass keeps the house warm for at least 48 hours as that stored energy gradually dissipates. Your modern forced air furnace stores zero heat. It's an on-demand system with no buffer. Power out equals immediate heat loss. Johann's system has massive thermal buffering built in. It's engineered for resilience, not convenience. Secret 3. The house is small and vertically integrated. Your modern home is probably 2,000 to 3,000 square feet spread across 1 or 2 floors with tall ceilings 8 to 10 feet high. That's enormous volume to heat. Medieval homes were much smaller and used vertical stacking to maximize efficiency. Johan's house is maybe 800 square feet total across 3 floors, but the living space per floor is only 400 square feet. The ground floor has the workshop and storage. The second floor directly above is the main living area with the masonry stove. The third floor directly above that is the sleeping loft. Here's the genius. Heat rises. The masonry stove on the second floor heats that floor directly through radiation. The heat rises through the floorboards to warm the sleeping loft above. The rising heat also warms the floor of the loft from below, making it comfortable for sleeping. The ground floor stays coolest, but that's fine, it's used for work and storage, not living. This vertical thermal stacking means Johan heats only one floor actively. The other floors are heated passively by rising heat. Your modern home has HVAC ducts forcing heated air to every room on every floor, fighting gravity and physics. Johan's house works with physics, not against it. The layout is optimized for passive heat distribution. The ceiling height matters critically. Johan's ceilings are 6.5 to 7 feet high, barely taller than a modern doorway. Modern people would find this claustrophobic. Medieval people understood it was thermal efficiency. Heat rises. With an 8-foot ceiling, you're heating 2 feet of air above your head that serves no purpose. That's wasted energy. Johan's 6.5-foot ceiling means he only heats the air in the space humans actually occupy. Low ceilings trap heat at human level instead of letting it pool uselessly at ceiling height. Secret fit windows are minimal and shuttered. Your modern home probably has 15 to 20% of wall area as windows. Huge thermal holes with R values of only R3 to R5, even for modern triple pane glass. Every window is a place where heat escapes rapidly. Johan's house has maybe 5% window, area small windows, few in number, designed for minimal heat loss. Medieval windows are tiny, often just 18 by 24 inches because glass is expensive and rare. Many windows have oiled parchment or linen cloth stretched across the opening instead of glass. This blocks wind while allowing some diffused light. But the real genius is the shutters. Every window has thick wooden shutters, 2 to 3 inches of solid wood, that close from the inside. At night and during cold weather, these shutters are closed, effectively turning the window into a thick wood panel. The window stops being a thermal hole and becomes part of the insulated wall. Johan closes all shutters at sunset and doesn't open them until mid-morning. His house is dark, yes, but it retains heat dramatically better than your modern home with its massive unshuttered windows leaking heat all night. Medieval people accepted darkness and winter because they understood the thermal cost of windows. Modern people want views and light, so we install huge windows, then wonder why our heating bills are astronomical and our homes freeze when power fails. Secret 5. The door is an airlock. Your modern exterior door is thin, maybe 1.5 inches of wood or metal with minimal insulation. You open it, and cold air rushes directly into your house. Johan's door system is completely different. The exterior door is thick 3 to 4 inches of solid wood and opens into a small entrance vestibule or porch, not directly into the living space. This vestibule is an unheated buffer zone. You enter from outside into this cold space, close the exterior door behind you, then open the interior door into the warm house. This creates an airlock that prevents cold air from rushing directly into the heated space. When someone enters or exits, the warm interior is protected by 2 doors with a buffer space between them. Many medieval homes also hang heavy wool or leather curtains inside the doorframe. You push through the curtain to enter, creating another air barrier. Some homes have double curtains, one at the doorframe, another a few feet inside. These fabric barriers flutter and seal around people passing through, minimizing cold air infiltration. Your modern house loses a huge burst of warm air every time someone opens the door. Johan's airlock system prevents this heat loss. Secret 6. The house is partially underground. Your modern house sits entirely above ground, exposing all walls to outdoor air temperature and wind. Johan's house is built with the ground floor partially subterranean. The floor is 2 to 3 feet below exterior grade. Earth is bermed up against the lower walls. This is called earth sheltering, and its thermal brilliance, the earth below the frost line about 4 feet deep in Bavaria, maintains a constant temperature of around 50 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. By connecting his house foundation to this stable ground temperature, Johan creates a thermal buffer. Even when outdoor air is 15 degrees, the earth surrounding his lower walls is 50 degrees. That's 35 degrees warmer than the air. The earth acts as insulation, reducing the temperature difference between inside and outside. Modern houses have foundations that go below the frost line, but then we build cold basements or crawl spaces and heated voids that become incredibly cold. We've disconnected the living space from the Earth's thermal stability, then spent money insulating the gap we created. Johan never created the gap. His ground floor is thermally connected to the stable Earth temperature, providing passive temperature moderation. Secret 7. Bedroom design concentrates heat. You probably have a bedroom with standard height ceilings, modern windows, and minimal insulation from the rest of the house. Johan's sleeping arrangements are radically different and thermally optimized. The sleeping loft on the third floor has a ceiling height of only 5 feet. You can't stand upright, only kneel or lie down. This seems primitive until you understand the physics. That 5-foot ceiling creates a small volume that's easy to keep warm. Heat rising from the masonry stove below naturally warms this space. The low ceiling traps that heat at sleeping level. There's minimal wasted vertical space to heat. The loft has no windows, it's completely enclosed except for a small trapdoor opening to the floor below. Heat can enter through the trapdoor, but can't escape through non-existent windows. Johan's entire family sleeps in this one small loft space, 6 people and maybe 150 square feet. Modern people would find this intolerable. Medieval people understood it was survival. 6 human bodies each produce about 100 watts of heat, 600 watts total. In a tiny enclosed space, this human body heat is significant. The family's breathing and body warmth raises the loft temperature noticeably. They're heating the space just by existing. The beds themselves have heavy curtains, 4-poster beds with thick wool or fabric curtains that close completely. You sleep inside a fabric tent that traps your body heat. It's a microclimate within the room. Inside those bed curtains, with multiple people and heavy blankets, the temperature can be 20 to 30 degrees warmer than the rest of the house. This extreme heat concentration allows survival even when the main house is cold. Secret 8. Insulation is hidden but effective. You might think medieval homes had no insulation. Wrong. They had extensive insulation, just not the obvious modern kind. Your home has fiberglass bats or spray foam in the walls. Johan's home has biological insulation throughout. The wattle-and-daub walls aren't just clay, they're clay mixed with straw, animal hair, and other fibrous materials. These fibers create air pockets within the clay matrix. Air is an excellent insulator. The clay-straw mixture has an R value similar to modern insulation when thick enough, and Johan's walls are 12 to 16 inches thick. The straw content provides insulating air spaces while the clay provides thermal mass. It's a hybrid insulation and storage system. The roof has even more insulation. Above the ceiling beams is a thick layer of whatever insulating material is locally available: straw, reeds, moss, or even sawdust piled 12 to 18 inches deep. This biological material traps air and provides significant R value. It's not manufactured insulation, but it works. Heat loss through the roof is minimized by this thick insulating layer. The floor has insulation to the earth itself. Packed earth provides thermal mass and also acts as insulation when you're connected to the stable ground temperature below. Some floors have woven red mats or thick wool rugs, adding another insulating layer between feet and the cold floor. Every surface has multiple layers that either insulate or store heat. Secret 9. Air sealing is meticulous. Modern homes leak air everywhere through electrical outlets, plumbing penetrations, ductwork, windows, doors. Air leakage is the biggest source of heat loss in modern construction. Johan's home has almost no air leakage because there are almost no electrical outlets, no plumbing pipes going through walls, no HVAC ducts, no recessed lighting. The walls are solid clay with minimal holes. Where penetrations exist, the chimney, the door frame, window frames, they're sealed meticulously with clay, moss, and wool. The chimney is built of solid masonry with no gaps. Door and window frames are sealed with moss chinking that expands when moist. Gaps between floorboards are filled with clay. The house is nearly airtight, not through modern materials but through careful traditional craftsmanship. This airtightness means heated air stays inside instead of leaking out through cracks. Your modern home might exchange its entire air volume every hour through leaks. Johan's home exchanges air maybe once every 4 to 6 hours through intentional ventilation and minimal leaking. This dramatically reduces heat loss. The house holds warmth like a thermos holds hot coffee. Secret 10. The animals are part of the heating system. This will sound primitive to modern ears, but it's brilliant physics. Johan's ground floor workshop area sometimes houses animals. In winter, a cow, some goats, chickens. These animals live in a section of the ground floor, separated from human space by a wall but under the same roof. Why? Because animals are living heaters. A cow produces about 1,500 watts of heat continuously just by existing metabolic heat from digestion and body processes. That's equivalent to running a large space heater 24/7. That heat rises through the floorboards, warming the human living space above. The animals stay warmer by being indoors. The humans benefit from the animals' waste heat. It's a symbiotic thermal relationship. This practice was extremely common in Northern Europe. The German word Stalltiel refers to the stable section of a house. It wasn't considered primitive, it was considered smart. You're maintaining animals you need anyway, and they're contributing to household heating. Modern people find this concept disgusting. Medieval people found freezing to death more disgusting than sharing a building with livestock. Secret 11. Ventilation is controlled and minimal. Your modern home needs mechanical ventilation because it's sealed with synthetic materials that don't breathe, creating moisture and air quality problems. Medieval homes breathed naturally. The clay walls are porous, they absorb and release moisture. The lime plaster interior is also breathable. The organic insulation materials allow some air movement. The house self-regulates humidity without mechanical systems. Johan controls ventilation through shutters and the door. He can open a shutter for a few minutes to exchange stale air for fresh, then close it again. The massive thermal mass buffers the temperature drop from brief ventilation. Your modern home with minimal thermal mass can't afford to open windows in winter. Temperature drops immediately and dramatically. Johan's home can ventilate briefly without losing much temperature because the thermal mass maintains stability. Secret 12. The thermal system is passive and resilient. This is the fundamental difference between medieval and modern homes. Your home is an active system. It requires constant energy input to maintain temperature. Furnace off equals immediate failure. Johan's home is a passive system. It maintains temperature through thermal mass. Insulation, strategic design, and minimal heat input. Fire out doesn't equal immediate failure because the stored thermal energy continues working for days. Resilience is built into medieval design. If Johan gets sick and can't tend the fire for a day, the house stays livable. If a snowstorm traps him inside for a week, he only needs to fire the stove twice daily to maintain warmth. He doesn't need a functioning electrical grid, natural gas supply, or any external infrastructure. The house is thermally independent. Your modern home is thermally dependent. It fails the moment external systems fail. During winter storms that knock out power, modern neighborhoods become uninhabitable within hours. Pipes burst. People evacuate to warming shelters. Meanwhile, a medieval home would barely notice. The thermal mass keeps working. The masonry stove's residual heat continues radiating. The insulated walls continue preventing heat loss. The passive systems continue functioning because they don't depend on power. The Texas freeze in 2021 killed hundreds of people, mostly from hypothermia in their own modern homes after power failed. Those same people would have survived comfortably in Johan's 700-year-old house design because it doesn't need power to work. The thermal engineering is passive and inherent to the structure. That's what real resilience looks like. So why did we abandon these designs? Cheap energy. Once electricity and fossil fuels became abundant, we could brute force climate control. We built thin-walled houses with minimal thermal mass, then heated them with furnaces running constantly. We traded resilience for convenience. We traded passive systems for active systems. We traded independence for grid dependence. We convinced ourselves this was progress. Now, as energy costs rise and grid reliability decreases, we're rediscovering these principles. Passive house design, thermal mass walls, masonry heaters, earthburn and minimal windows. All these innovative modern techniques are actually ancient medieval technology we forgot. We're spending millions on research to relearn what Johan knew because his grandfather taught him. The medieval home isn't primitive, it's sophisticated passive engineering. Every element works together. Thermal mass stores heat, insulation prevents loss. Strategic layout distributes heat passively. Minimal openings reduce heat escape. Passive ventilation maintains air quality. It's an integrated system that maintains equilibrium naturally. Modern homes are collections of active systems fighting entropy, requiring constant energy input. Which design is actually more advanced? If this changed how you think about medieval technology and modern progress, hit that subscribe button. Next video drops in for days. We're revealing how medieval people preserved food for months without refrigeration, and the techniques are being revived by modern survival. The forgotten food science will blow your mind. See you then.